Today, we're getting into something, a feeling a lot of us have, but maybe don't say out loud. It's the nagging sense that our work, the thing we spend a huge chunk of our lives doing, might just be completely meaningless. All right, let's dive into this bizarre modern paradox. So let me ask you something. Do you ever feel like a corporate ghost? You know the feeling. You're haunting the hallways, you're in the meetings, you're sending the emails, but you have this quiet suspicion that if you just vanished tomorrow, nothing would actually change. Well, you're not just imagining it, and you are definitely not alone. I mean, check this out. A YouGov poll in Britain found something pretty staggering. When they asked workers if their job made a meaningful contribution to the world, a full 37% of them said no. Let that sink in. More than 1 in 3 people go to work every day secretly believing their job is pointless. This isn't just a personal feeling, it's a huge systemic issue. And this brings us right to what we can call the corporate ghost paradox. It's this strange, unsettling contradiction of being well-paid, having a respectable title on your LinkedIn, but feeling spiritually hollowed out because the work itself just feels, well, totally unnecessary. The late anthropologist David Graeber actually gave this whole phenomenon a name, a pretty blunt one, actually. He called it a bullshit job, and his definition is just spot on. He said it's a job that's so pointless that even the person doing it can't justify it. But here's the kicker. They're forced to pretend that it's not. That act of pretending, that's the crucial part. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Graeber didn't just define the problem. He actually broke it all down. He created a whole classification system, a taxonomy of uselessness, if you will, identifying 5 major categories of these meaningless jobs. So let's get into them. All right, so first up, you've got flunkies. These are jobs that basically exist just to make someone else look or feel important. Then you have the goons. Their work has a harmful or manipulative edge to it. Think corporate lobbyists or PR specialists spinning a negative story. Third, we have duct tapers. These are the people whose entire job is just patching up problems that honestly should have been fixed permanently a long time ago. Number 4, the box tickers. Oh yeah, we've all seen these. Their job is to create the illusion of doing something, filling out forms, writing reports no one reads, so the company can claim they took action. And finally, taskmasters. These are the managers who just create more pointless work for others or supervise people who really don't need supervising in the first place. Okay, so that's Graeber's modern diagnosis. But how did we even get here? To figure that out, we have to rewind the clock about 100 years and talk about a sociologist named Max Weber. He saw this coming. He saw how the very structure of our modern organizations was literally designed to strip work of any real deep purpose. Weber used this really powerful German word, Beruf. It's a fascinating term because it means both profession and, more importantly, calling. And that calling part is key. It implies this inward, passionate devotion to your work, the idea that what you do is a core part of who you are, a true source of meaning. And if you just look at the contrast, it's night and day, isn't it? On one side, you have that idea of a calling. It's all about personal meaning and identity. But on the other side, you have the modern bureaucratic function. It's totally impersonal. You're just a cog in a giant machine, valued not for your passion, but for your simple, calculable efficiency. Weber had a pretty chilling name for this system, the iron cage of bureaucracy. And it's such a perfect metaphor. It's this cage built out of rational rules and cold, hard processes, all designed for maximum efficiency. But the thing about a cage is, it traps you. It depersonalizes your role and stamps out all the human spontaneity and purpose that a true calling provides. And that empty space, that's the perfect breeding ground for meaningless work. So what does it actually feel like to be trapped in that cage every day? Well, it's not just boring. It's so much worse than that. Graeber argued it inflicts a deep psychological wound, a kind of spiritual violence, caused by the constant grinding act of faking purpose when you know there is none. This quote from him just cuts right to the heart of it all. How can one speak of dignity in labor if one secretly feels one's job should not exist? That need to pretend, to put on a performance of purpose day after day, it's a direct assault on our very sense of self-worth. And let's be really clear here. This is not a small problem. We're talking about a profound moral and spiritual injury. It leads to real despair, to depression and resentment. Why? Because being forced to pretend is a raw exercise of power over you. Graeber suggests that what makes us human is our ability to have an impact on the world. So when your job takes that away from you, a part of you basically ceases to exist. So this all begs a huge question. Why on earth do we put up with this? Well, the answer seems to be tied up in our society's obsession with the idea of work itself. You could even call it a cult of work, where the simple act of labor is seen as a moral good, regardless of what that labor actually accomplishes. Graeber argues that we've essentially made work an end in itself. We have this really deep-seated, unspoken belief that to be a good person, you have to be working hard. Often it's something you don't even enjoy. The busyness, even the suffering, has somehow become the proof of your virtue. And this connects right back to Weber. As his interpreters put it, the early Puritans chose to be devoted to their vocation. For them, it was a religious duty. But us? We don't really have a choice. We have to be that person. We're sort of forced into becoming what they called a petty routine creature, stripped of the very heroism and spontaneity that makes us feel alive. So, where does all this leave us? We've built an entire world that churns out millions of well-paid yet meaningless jobs, while at the exact same time telling us that our job should be our primary source of value. It's a trap, and that leaves every single one of us with a really tough, really personal question to answer. If your work isn't your calling, then what is?